Hello, boys and girls. Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to the mid-season review 2021-2022 season. We're in the new year.
Yep.
Before I introduce my very special guest, the famous, you know him. Just wanted to say to you guys, thank you very much for your support. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here. We had a splendid 2021. Lovely. You guys watched, you retweeted, you shared the videos from the bottom of our hearts. Everyone from all the team, including the owner. Thank you very much. Subscribe, continue subscribing, like and share. Yeah, and turn on the notification button as soon as we drop videos like this. You're on. Like I said, welcome to the 2021-2022 mid-season review, and I'm with Taji. Taji, how are you, my bro?
Oh, no. Thanks, Tlotlo, for having me here, man. It's been a minute.
It's been a while.
You know, when you're working behind the scenes, I'm saying, these guys are doing a great job here. You know, you've taken the vlog to the next level. I mean, to levels that this has gone to, and where it's going is really encouraging, man. It is actually become a routine that without the vlog, something is not happening. I mean, right now I'm actually getting separation anxiety. The fact that I haven't watched the vlog.
We've had a break.
We've had a break because I mean it gets to be a routine to know that pre and post match, and I mean this season you guys have really taken it to the next level. Even the work that the guys are putting in on the pre-match, and we're actually taking it to the next level.
Shout out to Thabiso Rapelang, and shout out to the production team. The boys behind this camera are elevating this product. Shout out, guys. Taji, we're in 2022 now. We'll get to that. 2021, special year for Mamelodi Sundowns. A very special year.
You know, years become special. You know, when you're celebrating something. But I mean, the very fact that we opened with an institution. I mean, I don't think it's fair what we've done to the institution. In fact, I was with a couple of them when the draw for the Nedbank was coming out, and
they were praying.
It was genuine prayers. It was not let's try and avoid them. It would have been not something again to open with to open another year against a formidable side that is getting strong. I mean, when you look at the current Sundowns team, and you must remember last season how we started. We started it losing a very big person. Piso. I mean, to lose Piso, it doesn't. It shook us. Even if you are the most faithful and the most hopeful, losing Piso had us all shaken up. And they stepped up. And not only did the three coaches step up, there was also issues around them. There were also issues insofar as can these guys work together. And to an extent, what they've gone on to do to silencing the critics and taking Sundowns forward, I mean, it's unbelievable. So we are a very special club that is looking very strong.
Doing special things.
And doing very special things at special levels. Yes.
So the 2021 season, we got into the year unbeaten, and still unbeaten in the league, doing well in the CAF Champions League. We eventually won the league. We walked it.
Yeah, I know.
We walked it. The only dent we could say was losing that game against Chiefs.
Now,
our only loss in the season in the league.
Yeah, no. One could say so because still the invisible season still proves elusive.
Yeah.
But the issue is how close are we to that? Look, even the very fact that as a club, our goals are very different. I mean, other guys have serious bread and butter, like survival issues, whereas we are here talking about
being invincible.
I mean, our dreams are very lofty, and they are aspiring and inspirational, and they are very achievable. I mean, if you think of the hard work that goes behind the scenes at Sundowns and how we focus in terms of the big games. I mean, even the game against, last season, all the big games that had big questions that were being asked, we answered those questions. I mean, we literally answered them at every moment.
We just came short in the big fish. We came short in the quarterfinals where we came up against the eventual African champions that are playing the Club World Cup this in a week's time. So
who have a coach nominated. I mean, you see the New York Times article. I mean, when you lose against such quality, you need to actually no. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, but it's not a good thing either, because now our ambitions have changed. I mean, I think the previous manager or our previous coach really changed the team, set us on a path that the current guys that are carrying forward, they've said to us, we belong at a certain level.
yeah.
The level that we belong in, without being arrogant, actually, or without taking things for granted. We belong at a
Different level.
at a different level. I mean, it's
And something that annoyed me, and I'm sure it annoyed you too, was losing the FA Cup semi-final against TTM on penalties.
no.
It was
Washington was something else that day.
Oh yeah,
No, look,
Oh, yeah.
for me, you watch a game like that,
he turned into pig Buffon.
like he literally stopped anything. He stopped anything that could be anything that day. And look, I always say that football is such a special sport that in a once-off game, even Black Leopards can beat Barcelona.
Barcelona.
That
Don't
is-
say that.
I always say that because that's
You
how
always say
that is the beauty of this game, which is something rare about football, because you seldom see that in any other sport, whether it's rugby, it's tennis, or it's cricket. It's only in football where on any given day any results can happen, which is the beauty of the game of billions. And that's what happens to us on that day. We came unstuck against Washington, and whatever we tried that day, it was just not our day. Yes, it's not nice to lose a game, but it was actually one of those that we can say, look,
We tried everything.
we tried everything. We've had new coaches, and we've walked the league. Let's take what we can, and we will reset ourselves and launch again with this season that we are currently in now, and which we've really started well.
Yeah, we have. So yeah, that was the end of. We wrapped up the league with how many points? 67, 68.
Yeah, 60 was 69.
I know you're not happy with that.
68 is, yeah.
I know you're not happy with that, but we'll touch on it. So we wrapped up the league. Some would say the coaches not failed. They did averagely well, considering where we came from a terrible winning season the season before
Yeah.
to only winning one trophy, which I think winning the league at your first try as coaches is, for me, you've done well. No matter, I would never downplay winning a league, whether it be in the Scottish League, in the Norwegian League, or the PSL. Winning a league over a period of 38 games, 30 games, you've
done well.
You've worked hard. What's your take on them just winning one trophy? Just a league.
I think the real question is, what is par for Sundowns? Like, what is our average season at Sundowns? I think right now, for the last 7 or 8 years, I think now we can literally say, for us, we should be saying the domestic title, FA Cup, and a Champions League semi-final. That is the bare minimum. Anything that is not that, it is a pass. It is nothing that we can say is excellent. It is a pass, because now our standards have been set differently, I think. And if we can't, without being too greedy or arrogant, again, I must emphasize, if you look at what has been built as a foundation for the club and the support that has come from above to help the playing personnel and the coaching personnel, the technical staff that is in the club, the experience that we've gained, our standards should be very different, and they should be. I mean, right now, insofar as to say 63 points, 68 points, 60s,
Par.
it's par. It is not excellent. It is a pass. You take your Madoda score and you move on. You move on. Yes, it is not something to. We can't say you've passed cum laude. No, it's not.
No, understand. Okay, we did that. We wrapped up the league. We had a pre-season for the first time in a long time. Okay, before COVID. Kutu came to the picture from Maritzburg. Mahema from Celtic. We made quite a number of
Yes.
signings. Safranco from wherever he came from. Um, did those signings, yes, it improved the team, Gadi number. Did it take the quality to a new level? The signings that we made in the off-season.
You know, with our signings, I was really indifferent, not excited, but not angry either, because there were question marks that I was asking myself to say, can these players add value that takes us from what we already were to the next level?
From the quarterfinal Champions League to
Exactly, to the next level, because and also taking into but surprisingly enough, Grant did, but more importantly, guys that were already in the team, like Domingo, suddenly said, put his hand up to say, I'm here.
I can play.
I'm here. I can play football.
AJ started being serious again.
AJ started to see, like, you know what, these young ones are not going to take this jersey off me. And when you start to see that hunger coming back from, or being established from players that were already inside, then you start to get to be happy, to start to say that the incoming ones already can see that the guys inside are not willing to relinquish their positions that easily. And that has really set the standard up, and has allowed the new guys that are coming in to actually come in and add proper value. I mean, Grant came in, and before we knew it, he was undroppable.
Neo,
Billy boy.
gem. He's a gem.
What this boy can do, I mean, he played at Celtics. I mean, he played. But now he's starting to realize that what he already knew, I can now do this at a higher level. And more importantly, because remember, when you play for teams like Sundowns, it's not about being good in a once-off game against a top team, because that's what you normally would see for talented players like a Neo playing for a lower league team, a lower position team. Against Chiefs or against Pirates or against Sundowns, you show up. Now, when you are already at Sundowns, you need to show up every match, because you are now Sundowns and you'll be playing against guys that are showing up against you. So that those signings for me, I would say, I mean, Serino is battling to keep his place.
His lunch.
Like, his lunch is gone. Like, so Neo has come in and is taking his lunch. And that's what you want from a guy that comes in. He comes in, establishes himself, and puts pressure on the existing guy to say, look, I'm going to have this if not having it. And that's what we've actually brought in. So the business that the guys did, it surprised most of us, if we're honest, because we already knew that we have good quality players at Sundowns. And now to have these boys come in and add value, put pressure on the existing guys, forcing a reaction from the existing ones, it's actually quite good. I mean, now we have Bafana internationals, literally Libusa, battling.
Kutumela.
Yeah, Kutu. You start to see this quality that is there, and the real question is, where can we go? Where is the limit for our sky? Can we just keep going and going? Where are we going to stop? Who's going to stop us? Should we press a self-destruct button? Or what can go wrong?
I think that's the only way to stop us. If we press that button that you're talking about. Personally, I think that's the only way. But yeah, we made those signings. Pre-season was done. Then the business started. The league business started. We went 10 games without conceding. At some point, even teams thought, how do you score against the Sundowns team?
No, so I think we should count this as part of the highlight that opposition fans or rival fans or whatever you want to call them started to celebrate a goal against Sundowns. Like, a team scoring a goal became a milestone. You see, stuff like that should become a norm, where we set these, and you must remember, this run of not conceding and scoring goals, we really started it from the last season. We started to build from last season, how we ended last season with being mean, like giving away nothing. And we start to do that, and then the opposition actually gets tired. It gets in their head. Gets in their head, because now, the moment we score, because a game would start, they'll all be glued in, cheering our opponents, and then invariably,
We'll score.
will score, and you would just see the reaction that they're giving up. And that's what we need to maintain the Sundowns moving into the second half of the season, is to say we must start as how we've ended. We must improve in how we've ended, because we didn't win our last 2 games. Well, there's that 4-game block that we need to discuss insofar as what didn't go right. Yeah, what didn't go right in those games. But how we've started the season by putting so much pressure that rival fans, they actually know that Sundowns, there's not a single football fan out there that doesn't know who's going to win the league in South Africa, if they are honest.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Yeah, seriously.
So we are doing well in the league. We've collected an average of 2.3 points per game.
Yep. Next best is 1.75.
If we continue in this vein, Taji, we will get close to the record point.
Yep.
Which is 71.
Yep.
We will get to 69. But if we just win one more game than what we did in the first half of the season, we'll break the record. How? Okay, before I move on to that, we won the MTN 8.
You remember that?
I remember that. We won the trophy. It's a trophy, South Africa. We won the MTN 8. The curse of the MTN 8 was broken, if there was such a thing.
Yes. You see, so suddenly we have a pre-season and we win the MTN 8. While one might think it's a coincidence.
What a coincidence.
Because Coach Pizzo used to always say it, that we don't have proper pre-seasons. And if we start
that
exactly, we start to use that as a competitive competitive matches, and we would normally be involved or just have been recently involved. So we left early in the CAF, and that gave us a bit of time, and then we also got a proper pre-season. So when you start to give a team like Sundowns, which has that type of quality, that amount of time and coaching, invariably things like that are going to happen. It's not going to be a coincidence that it is, because even the games that you go end up on penalties, people might think those games were close. Those games were not close. I mean, even the game that we drew with Chiefs, I mean, we're up, like 2-0.
2-0 up.
We're supposed to be, and we could have been out of sight if, was given, but as I always say, if my uncle had what, and then it would be what. It should be my aunt. So you know what on those. But the reality of the matter is that if Sundowns is given the same amount of time as any of the 15 PSL sides, there's not going to be competition.
One result. One end result.
That's it. And we're going into a season, the second half now, where we'll be playing against low blocks after low blocks after low blocks after low blocks. Now, that needs a solution.
Which is coaching, right?
Coaching.
Time. So we won the MTN 8, beat Cape Town City on penalties. We should have easily won. We should miss, Tapel or miss.
Exactly.
We should have easily won that final. Tlotlo did what he did in the second half, changed it a bit.
Yep.
And
credits to him, yep.
Yeah. And it became a game where it shouldn't have. Yeah, we won that. Continued beating teams in the league. Going back to the points tally, like I said, we are doing 2.31 game now. Time that by 30, it's about 69, right?
Yep.
Is that good enough for you?
That's par. It's a 50% pass.
So we should be doing 2.5.
And then that becomes a good pass, depending on how we do with the Nedbank and Champions League.
Okay. So you are okay with 2.3 if we go on and win the FA Cup and semi-final? Because Champions League is once you get to the last 4, it's
any man's game.
It's any man's game. It's any man's game.
Look, I think for us, what is more important in the Champions League is to first be where we are is close. We need to be in the top 5, top 4 regular. When CAF rankings come out,
top 4 Sundowns.
We must be in the top 4.
It's Ali Sundowns. I think we should be.
We should be top
4. There's
4.
a team we should be placing that Ali, Aspirations, Wydad, and
we should knock one of those out,
yeah.
And then we establish ourselves as in the top 4. The Sundowns of Mamelodi, as we're known on the continent.
Yeah.
And then once we start to do that, then these games that we play, because remember, a knockout game, it takes one bad 90 minutes. One bad 90 minutes, and it unravels.
Simba against Chiefs.
Exactly.
4-0.
Exactly. That is what literally Champions League is all about. One bad game, your whole season unravels. So what you need to do is you literally play percentage football, minimize mistakes, and you do so by being aggressive.
That's what England did in the Euros. They said something about minimizing the unpredictability
Yes.
of everything must be predictable. You know what will happen. You know what. I know what that you will wear on a Thursday, wear on a Friday. Just minimize that.
You see, which is what I was remarking on about how our season began, when I was saying that these guys are methodically. The method, you can see that these guys, this thing is becoming scientific now. It's almost boringly exciting. Like you can see what's coming, as Grant would say, but you can't stop it. But now it's even more planned. You know these guys are gonna cut you clean. It's not gonna be a mess. They're gonna leave blood all over the place. These guys are gonna go for what they need from you, and they're gonna leave you.
And they're gonna take it.
Yeah, and they're gonna take it, and there's nothing you're gonna do about it. I mean, we did that to a very big club. How many times?
5 times. 5 times. 5 times.
Yeah.
In 1 year. But yeah. The year ended with that defeat we spoke about against Amazulu, where Benny Low blocked us. And then the next game against Gallants, we drew, but we still ended the year way ahead of number 2. And then before the new year, the Champions League draw happened. Inevitably. Like, I could have said this 3 months before that we were going to play
Fate conspired us.
the African champions and Bizo Musiman. We drew him, them, and 2 Sudanese.
Yes.
We
The
traveled
Sudan national team.
Yes. Luckily,
We've been there.
Yes, we've been there.
And we told
last
Wilfred Segi to do the same, to actually just play us.
Yeah.
Because we always.
How I think we will top the group. I think we'll win here South Africa against Ali and beat them. Draw in Cairo. I think we'll top the group.
Look, for me, honestly speaking, I think we shouldn't get less than 12 points. What 12 points is, I'm not sure where it is, but as long as we don't get
12 points means that we win all our home games and get a win in Sudan or 3 draws away.
Exactly. 12 points is literally you win your home games, 1 win and one away win and a draw. It means you drop one. It means you fail to win 2 games, 1 loss. You budget for 1 loss. That's it.
But we should be comfortable, right? In getting out of the group, whether we're number 1 or 2, I'm just
No.
we should be comfortable, right?
No, that's not even a negotiable. That's not on the table. If Sundowns were not to get out of this group, we should consider that an ultimate fail. Something has gone wrong. It is a fail. There's nothing that we would do for the rest of the season that would be able to cover for that. Even if we manage to get a record points tally for the PSL,
Win the FA
we win
Cup.
the FA Cup, which is basically win everything, which would mean that we would have won everything in the domestic calendar. Failure to get out of the group would negate any of those being called a success. That is our standard right now.
Failure to pass
To get out of the group.
Okay. Failure to pass the quarterfinals.
And a domestic triple.
Let's just concentrate on the Champions League.
No, semi-finals. Anything less than a semi-final.
Okay.
Anything less than a semi-final.
Yeah, Taji.
Guys,
Good to have you. Good to have you.
Yeah, it's nice to see you again.
Yeah, quick sub from Tlotlo to myself. You know, we had to overwork you because we don't get to see you that often.
they're very commodity. It's
Of
been a
course.
minute since I've been here.
I know.
I've been
And
back at work.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. So, Taji, we go into our January signings now. Like I liked how what you and Tlotlo touched on. You touched on our calendar year 2021. It might have seemed lengthy, but it was important. It's things that we had to address.
It's very lengthy to Pirates as well.
Of course, I mean, like you beat Pirates 5 times in one calendar year. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Taji, we're at the beginning of Feb now, but we've done some very good business in terms of our January signings. I mean, it's rare to have a team that gets a marquee signing in January. You know, marquee signings in January are so important. Your Van Dijks, they come and change.
They are what you call the changes, and that I think that is what we've done with the big one.
Yeah, the big one. I mean, the home winner. Even though we started with Surprise Ralani,
yes.
I think we can touch on him first. The conversation on Ralani. Ralani was a hot topic when we announced him. I mean, people were like, you just let go of Slompo, he's 36, but you're signing a 34-year-old Surprise Ralani. Like, what's happening? For me, I said, the first positive for me was, I also had my concerns as well, but my first positive was like, it's an 18-month contract, which tells you he's a short-term solution. And I think we need short-term solutions for Champions League, and we also need them for, those rare away games at Maritzburg in March.
Exactly, Kens, you've actually nailed it, because I had my big reservations about the signing, but when you start to understand why they've made it, and we play football at Sundowns, and one of the things that I've always cried out about was the excuse the pun, the surprise element.
Yeah.
And insofar as we are not quick enough in the offensive areas, we have our fullbacks coming from deep with that pace, but offensively we don't. I was listening to this other press conference that Yakin did. He was explaining that things that coaches can coach, which is speed out wide.
Yeah.
That you're born with it. And when Salah and Mane have gone to AFCON, their replacement cannot be expected to have that speed. We then have to play differently, for instance, their teams. Similar with Sundowns, we'd watch our games, especially the Champions League ones, and we're like saying, we really need something that can be different from our steady build-ups.
Yeah.
Something that can bring something onto our opponents, and I think Surprise Roland is going to do that, because he has that uncoachable pace, so he will hit those wide areas from an offensive position already in the midfield. So we should be able to, and you must remember in Champions League against the big boys, they're not going to play low block against us.
Yeah.
This is not going to play low block against Sundowns. That is not going to happen. It's going to be a good game, and those games where we're going to go pound to pound, spaces are going to open up for him to run into, and he can capitalize on those. So it's logical for that signing, for those purposes, to say, let's do something that is Sundowns that we are used to. So that is what that one is. So I'll take it for the purpose that is desired for. That's, yeah.
Also, one thing I've always felt like we lack a bit at Sundowns is a player with flair. But flair that is, it's not just flair for the sake of it. Like, it's flair that's productive. Progressively, And the thing is that we have players like Mshishi, like they are your technicians. Yes. Like Mshishi is, is a technician, and you just need like those small little things. Another thing I liked from the article that came from the team, where Coach Rulani is stating a case to say why we signed Ralani, because I like the fact that he touched on that, because it's a hot topic, to say, to give you even the stats, like to give you what backs up that signing, to say like it's not just the signing, but when you look at like how they played at Cape Town City, like they play a high press, which is what we do, and surprise like the amount of times that he wins the ball up front. In terms of like goal scoring opportunities, like he's higher than an average PSL player.
And sorry to touch on Paris, but they felt that. I mean, there was a game where even an untrained football eye could actually see Gift Mutupa pressing space and literally suffocating Pirates to a point where they just gave ball back.
And you could see that they targeted Nyauza.
Yes. so when I work with that is why I always say that the player, the profile, it may not be your usual or your type of high-profile Sundowns signing.
Yeah.
However, for what it is designed for, when you unpack the numbers that the guys want to achieve, then it's easy to accept and to actually see the role that is going to be used in. And I'm happy with that explanation. Definitely.
Same here. I'm very excited to see him play. And then the big one, Teboho Mokoena. I've always called him a generational talent. My take on Teboho Mokoena, as much as maybe we don't like comparing, to me, he's an improvement on Hlompho Kekana.
Yep.
His profile is what Hlompho brought. That his defensive stability is there, progressive in terms of his passing, high football IQ, has a goal, has an assist in him, has the engine, age,
and
set piece, everything. So now we have a set piece on the right side of the field. Lyle is a threat. We have a set piece this side, and not only Lyle but Aubry as well. You have a set piece this side. Teboho is a threat. I mean, why wouldn't you want that? Champions League, we always suffer from set pieces. We always suffer like small things win you games, like small margins. What are your thoughts on Teboho?
I don't think words can begin to explain it. I think, now we're just pairing there. It's like therapists. It's like this, that the talent in that boy. He's one of those type of players that even if you get a red card somewhere, your team will still be so balanced that you would not actually feel it. That is what he brings as a player. And to bring him to such a quality side, I mean, when you talk of Sundowns quality, I was having a chat, I think I WhatsApped Tlotlo the other sometime the day, just the players that were missing in our last game. And if I add him to those guys, you start to see that he takes that team to the next level. And you must remember, guys like Tebza played in Africa at a young age.
And got to a final.
At a young. So he was baptized in the fires of CAF of the continent.
Also a vital cog in an under-23 team that qualified for the Olympics.
Exactly. so you see his gradual progress.
Captain under 17.
And then you're now getting this product to come in a well-coached, in a well-structured, in a highly successful side. And the question is, people like asking, but no, he's not going to play. Watch that boy. Don't be surprised that man, we said a couple of stars with Grant, and look what Grant has done. And look where, the way he lives his life, his lifestyle, just outside football, you start to understand that there's nothing that is going to stop this young man from taking Sundowns to the next level. Look, when we talk about the semi-finals of the Champions League, or we're talking about getting out of the group stages, you can see his role. You can see that. We're talking about the returning Sitramabuya's kid, Lebu. And you
that's how old you are. When Mabuya's name doesn't come up, you remember his dad. Probably played with him in the amateur ranks.
You see, so you actually get to see the quality that he brings, because he's a perfect number 8 who can also play as a pivot, and if push comes to shove, you can play him as a 10. So he covers each and every foreseeable position that you can have in the spine of the middle. And with that type of quality, there isn't much that you can say. Without coming across as arrogant. He walks and walks. You look at our opponents, for starters, insofar as the domestic league is concerned. You look at all of them. I won't even mention them, just out of respect. From number 2 to number 16, he is peerless. And then when he is that quality and moving into a quality where we have a quality goalkeeper, quality fullbacks, quality centre backs, a generational pivot, and you add him. What are we looking at here? What are we looking at? Let's be honest.
I no longer have words to say, like, when it comes to that signing. And also now there's rumors of a Bolivian player coming, and also there's rumors that we've signed the Ethiopian kid who's a striker who's got 29 goals in 23 league games in Ethiopia. I don't know if that's something to celebrate or to wonder, like, the level of the Ethiopian league.
No, I'll come back to the Ethiopian guy because I saw. You know, sometimes we watch these guys on YouTube.
Yeah.
But for this, for the Bolivian guy, first and foremost, I'd like to, if he really does come. So what I did is I actually watched. They lost against Venezuela. He came on as a sub. I mean, he's an international.
Yeah.
For starters. I mean, he's playing in a World Cup qualifiers. So that says something, that it's not one of those guys that we are just who can play football because of South America. Yeah. No. He's not a cousin. Yeah, cousin just played because they're cousins to guys that are playing in Europe. No.
Yeah.
This one is really a footballer himself. So I was impressed with that level in terms of the quality. So, and the glimpse that I've seen of him is he would be a quality addition, which would render what was one of our best players suddenly obsolete, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
We should, maybe hindsight is always 2020. Maybe we should have done the deal when they came knocking. But that's a question for another day.
Yeah.
And look, I've seen the Ethiopian League, and I've had I think we exchanged some exchanges with Velile about a guy who I mean, he's played for his country, and his country is playing at AFCON. So he has that bit of pedigree. But I'm generally not happy with the Ethiopian League, and I must say that I wouldn't want us to sign him outright. He must come in, be assessed, and because we are Sundowns, we are one of the best teams on the continent. I'm not even going to mention South Africa, on the continent. So the type of caliber player that must come in and join. I always say that if you're going to bring a foreign player to the domestic league or to Sundowns, he must be shaped like better than what we already have in the country. We can't bring in a marginally better international or a guy who's never played for his country. We should set a standard whereby our own standard, because clearly PSL is not going to set the standard for us, because in other countries the standard is set by either the FA or the professional league in terms of what is the quality of a foreigner that must come into the league. I'm glad that Sundowns has done this with this one, like the Bolivian guy.
And the fact that they actually gave him a trial before signing him outright.
Exactly, this is Ethiopian guy. So we're now having guys that have played for the national teams. The national teams are playing in continental competitions, and that's much better than to have some guy who's not played for his national team and he's just coming from somewhere, and we've already signed him. He's already in our books. No. We should learn from our past. We've made some of those mistakes, and we must try to avoid them moving forward.
That's true. But with additions, Taji, you need to balance the squad, and I'm personally not happy that we haven't had a lot of players going on loan or even releasing some of the players. But at least a player like Sfiso Ngobeni has gone to SuperSport on loan. I'm not glad Promise is still around. I'm glad Grandmangaman has gotten a good stretch of games. I'm glad Keletso has gotten a good stretch of games. Who do you think we should have released or gone on loan?
One can look further than a player like Lunga, Sofranco.
I've made reservations about Sofranco.
You know, sometimes we've been unlucky with the white dudes that are playing up front. We've just, we've had good goalkeepers. We had a good semi-tough team back in the days. Even Craig Villa was a decent. We got him from Grenada Rangers. Yes, back in the 90s. But we've always picked the right guys to play. Even Matty Peterson even tried. You see, we've always had good ones who play in the defensive role, who can link up play. But for me...
But Safranco just came in at the beginning of the season, Taji.
So, Safranco, maybe I'm being harsh. Even Safranco and Lunga.
Yeah.
Because maybe it's because I've always held the idea that I couldn't understand those, especially when you have Gift Mutupa coming back.
Yeah.
Because Gift came back and showed why we had to have it. And I really knew, when he started to establish himself, started to do stuff that could show that his true value.
He was very good.
Exactly. And you must remember there's Kermit Erasmus as well. And we are Sundowns, we're not going to play more than one number 9 at any given moment.
Yeah.
So when we play and show that adaptability. So the question is, Sofrango can come and solve those low blocks on a wet muddy pitch somewhere in
But
Guyana or
I
something.
think with Safranco Taji, let's see him in the Champions League first.
All right.
Because for me, I don't want to lie to you. I so far, I'm content with Safranco and what he brings, especially around Shalulile and Mshishi. I think he opens up the space for them. Same way, we've said this a lot of times, same way Castro did for Kama and Keegan. But I want to ask you one question that I also would love to touch on. Do you still need Gaston Sirin?
No, should have taken the money. Should have taken the money.
Because it's not going to come anyway now.
Look, it's not as if with Cirino, he could go to any next level. If you looked at his age, where he came from, in hindsight, it's easy to say this, but he was really not. I said, even then, I was of opinion that if these guys are crazy enough to offer us anything above 45 million, well, which is about, it's not that much in dollars, we should have taken it. Because the question is, we were starting to have guys who were stepping up. We had a Domingo, for instance, who stepped up. As a proper player that can be played there. You're not going to get Mshishi out.
Yeah.
You know,
At least not now.
Well, not now.
Yeah.
But even then, we signed Neo. And Billy Boy has done wonders to say, I'm here to stay.
Yeah.
And I'm here to eat someone's lunch.
Yeah.
And Age is on my
in
side.
front of them.
In front of them, exactly. And Age is on his side. He's going to grab your lunchbox.
Yeah.
At some point, she's not going to chase him.
Yeah. And even at one point, Kutumela was playing in that exact spot that Serino is playing. Even though Kutumela has blown hot and cold, there are games where he didn't play well but scored a goal.
you see, and that's what it is with Sundowns and incoming players. Guys like Neo and Kutu are going to learn the consistency, because the Sundowns is not about being good, it's about being consistently good.
And the one player who proved that was Mabua.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Mabua will always be there.
Yeah.
And the whole system then trusts you.
Yeah.
And the system is almost built, you must almost think that it's built around you. Well, invariably you force the system to be built around you because of your availability and your consistency.
Yeah.
In fact, the whole model, even when we lose you, we've now signed guys that we've designed to almost replace you or to be better than you, because that's how the system works. And that is what is scarily invincible about Sundowns, is the fact that our signings, whether it was the last window or the one that has just recently closed, all of them are specific. They are by design. They are no longer the hit and miss. Yes, I would love for us to release some of the players who are on our books and allow them to not just go out on loan, to sell them. Allow them to live, to belong somewhere, grow their careers, and we can always be creative insofar as how we release them, whether you take a percentage of sale of future sales or you do a buyback. We can always be creative about that, but let's allow these players to go out and play, because the quality that you are bringing in, it is out of this world.
Yeah, especially looking at the age as well. Yeah, but well, I like what you said, because I've always said this so many times, that the star player at Sundowns is the system. The system is the star player. If it was possible, our system should win Player of the Year like every year. and
that's why I don't want to give it to our coaches.
Exactly, even like Coach of the Year. But you know, you always talk about the next level. For you, Daji, like especially like looking at the signings we just made, of course players have to adapt. Some players, I'm not sure if they're lucky or maybe they had time in preseason to properly adjust. I mean, look at Grant, look at Neo. I mean, they came in and started doing bits. Shaluli last season as well. When you look at the signings we made now, what are your expectations when you look at a player like Teboho and a player like Ralani? What are your expectations?
Look, unfortunately for them, they've look. For Teboho, I'm adamant he's gonna walk into that team. Who sits out? Whose lunch is taking? Someone's lunch is under threat.
Someone's lunch is on the table.
Yeah, someone's lunch is on the table. Exactly. And for surprise, I would see him more in the Champions League. I would expect to see him play more games in CAF and to in the domestic league to come in when we need to stretch teams a bit. So for me, I would say Tebza is going to be starting very soon. Sooner than most actually think he's gonna do. And Ralani will get his moments, and when he does get his moments, he will solve for whatever it is that the coaches will be asking him to go and solve for. So I'm really happy with the signings, and I'm also happy that we didn't have more than 3 signings. Because this thing of us having more than 3 in a very competitive, it becomes cumulative. I mean, you've signed another 4 in the Swedish, and then suddenly you've got 7 new players within 6 months. We must stay away from that. Teams must be allowed to grow together, and once they're growing together, and then there'll always be time to when you need to pull out. And sometimes it's like very difficult. It's going to hurt. I mean, I wasn't really happy with Skhomo having to be pulled out, but I had to accept. I had to accept that invariably football it's a time-related sport. There comes a time where you need to move on, and you may not feel you are ready as a player. And the fans, I as a fan, may also not be ready to let go. But I mean, look at what Neo is doing. Neo is pushing. He's pushing even the existing guys like Abo Domingo to step up, because they don't want their lunches to be eaten. I mean, no one does. No one wants to lose out. And it's a healthy environment. And that is what I like about it Sundowns at the moment, the fact that we've entered a real professional era. Unlike, remember, I mean, the Sundowns of old, you would be hearing stories. Guys would be rating each other out into the media, and we would just have the football publications just eating on those. I mean, they would have article after article about what's happening behind the scenes. Suddenly, we don't have that. And we're the team which has the most competition. And yet, we are able to have control of stories like that. It speaks volumes about the type of professionals we are now having at Sundowns. It's not like it's all hunky-dory behind the scenes. There's a lot of professional jealousy. There's a lot of professional stuff that happens in any environment. But the fact that these guys are able to hold it in and are able to not to allow these things to come out and it become stories themselves says a lot about the professionalism and where we want to go as a club. And that's encouraging and should be scary for our opponents.
Definitely. Yeah. You said you have a question for me.
Yes. What role do you see Gift? You have to choose between Gift and Safranco. It's a do or die game. Who do you go for?
Judging by how Gift did last season, it's a really tough question.
Exactly, that's what I'm asking. I'm assuming Gift is going to give you what he gave us before he got the injury, and Safranco is going to give what he's already shown, which you have faith in. Fortunately for you.
I'd go with Gift. I'd go. Also, I'm not sure. I'd like to see the goal to minute ratio. Gift and Safranco, because Safranco doesn't have a lot of goals. I mean, against Pirates he came in, but I mean, really, that defense, it's like we were playing alone. You can be hit like on the far post twice in one game.
And you are there, you are playing a sport. You're gonna end an innings. You're gonna end.
So
I would not have paid them.
Of course, Safranco had a goal here and there, I just like his role of the ball, but it would be it's somewhat of a luxury to have two strikers who can score goals at any time. I know Gift didn't score as much, but I feel like Gift is most likely to score more than Safranco. Safranco, at least there's the aerial presence. Sometimes you wish you can just make them one person in two, but gun to head, I'm taking Gift.
Okay, cool. That was what I wanted to get to, because I was looking at Safrango and I can see the set piece solution that you would bring, especially when you have a Tebza and a Lakay, where opposition defenses won't know whether it's going to be coming in or coming out.
Yeah.
You have a Safranco at the back. That would cause a lot, and you've pushed up two of your center backs or something. So that would give us that attacking threat, especially on the continent.
And have you realized that we've actually copied from Chief's notebook under Middendorp in terms of our set pieces? Because Middendorp would always have Matoho or Cardoso in the first pole, and then have Nukovic in the last pole, or vice versa. And we always have either a Libusa or a Safranco at the first pole, and then we have Grant at the last pole. I think we stole a bit on that.
And this will work very well when we'll play again. I mean, with all due respect to the Sudanese size, the Sudanese league is really not something that one can really write home about, with all due respect. With all due respect. Which is why that tactically we should be better than those ones, and we should be able to offer more. So I'm glad at least we say Gift when it comes to playing, and so Franco to solve for those particular games where there's something that we really need to sort out. Because then on your side, Champions League,
in terms of what?
Where do you see us?
Champions League, I tweeted it. I said we're going to win this Champions League, and I stand by my words. We're going to win the Champions League. You look like you don't believe it.
No. I like your confidence. Because
I think we'll win it. I think we'll win it.
You don't have to be modest about it.
Nah, there's no need to be modest, G. I mean, to be honest, as the way we've been conducting our business, I think we have a better squad than what Coach Pizzo had when he was still here, and he was punching, and I think when he left, we had started cracking the ceiling, and last season I think we beat ourselves. So if everything is done right now, I'm telling you now, no matter what, we are getting to the final. I'm telling you, we are getting to the final. What happens at the final is up to the coaches, but I think we are getting there. Like Champions League, we are at the finals. Prepare yourself. Wherever is going, book your flight. Done. We move into a Grand Slam. We move into a Grand Slam in terms of the Nedbank Cup. It's one trophy we have to win. I said to you off camera that for me, a good season for Sun, like just winning the league now is no longer acceptable. I mean, it is. We'll accept it last season because it's their first season. I mean, but now a good season at Sundowns should be winning the league and a Nedbank Cup or a Telkom. But I'll take the Nedbank Cup over the Telkom. We are starting with Richards Bay. I mean, Coach Pizzo always wanted Mafarara and whatnot. Yes, I think we might get a fixture like that somewhere in between. But we are starting with Richards.
Let's enjoy it. Must get Mafarara.
And we are starting with Richards Bay. We are not privy who's fit, who's not. But let's say 90% of our squad or 95% of our squad is fully fit. Who are you going with in that game?
That's easy.
Do you go full strength or what do you do?
Because you need to go full strength. Look, Sundowns, there are no French players. I was saying there are no French players at Sundowns. Because you're not gonna say, I mean, look at Khuliso Mudau. I mean, Khuliso really put serious pressure on Tappet.
And he made me eat humble pie. After the Al Ahly, his performance against Al Ahly, I said, bin this guy. But beginning of this season, what he did in the M10-8 shut me up. You know, if there's one thing I enjoy, it's humble pie.
Exactly.
Give me a full-on diet of humble pie, I'll take it.
So the question is, if we start with Khuliso, can we say Khuliso is...
it's not full strength.
It's not full strength.
Nah. You're right.
You see, so that is why.
Sorry. So basically, now for us, it's no longer saying, do you go full strength, or we are saying, do you go with
Time management.
what we know, or we are giving others minutes?
Yeah, simple. Time management.
So would you give my minutes to maybe some of the new boys or what?
Look, for me, I would actually, ironically enough, Derek, Kekana, Libuse, Mudau, Onyango didn't play our last game. Rivaldo didn't play our last game. Sereno didn't play our last game. And when you look at Kemi Erasmus, didn't play our last game. So when you look at now, suddenly you have Onyango, who needs to come back, get to be match fit. You've got Kuliso, who needs to be match fit.
Yeah.
You've got Lunga or Mudiba, because Lake is definitely going to be playing against Chipa. So who do you play at left back? I'll go with Aubrey. And then the two centre backs would be Libusa and Grant and Derek.
I'm not sure if Grant is fully fit since he had that injury.
See, if he's not fit, then it's Libusa and Derek.
Yeah.
And then obviously at 6 it's you need Rivaldo to have game time.
Yeah.
And then you would probably have a Jali.
You don't give Tebo a debut?
No, a Jali and a Tebu.
Oh, so you're going midfield 3?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And then we've got a gift, or I mean, Peter is actually doing this. Or you can try your Safranco, and then you can see which of the outside. Look, whether you are playing Sereno there to give him some game time, to bring his confidence up. Maybe he must hit a hat-trick and suddenly he remembers how he used to play.
Yeah.
And look, the quality we have is really not at, we're at a stage where we really don't have French players.
Yeah.
It's a question of who are we giving time to against Richards Bay, and then who are we going to play against Chipa.
You have Kapinga, who I saw a clip where he scored a good goal in the useless Compact Cup. I didn't even watch, but I saw the clips because he scored.
See, or a Sereno, or you can rest Ezwana, for instance, and you can play a Kapinga. And then Neo needs to come back, because Neo as well is coming back from, he came on in the last game, but he came in from an injury.
Yeah.
So to have Neo, Sereno, and Sofranco with Rivaldo, Jali, Mukwena.
That's the goods. That's the goods. But Taji, so as things stand, with my prediction saying we will make a Champions League final, and NetBank, I think it's a must. It's a must because the league is a given.
A domestic sweep is a must. That's that's not a conversation. Domestic team, we must win for the next 3 years. We must win all 3 domestic competitions. Just how it's supposed to be.
And the thing is that it's not even we're not being unfair
No,
on the
no,
coaches
no, we're
or
not.
the players.
Look, if you look at the investment that has been brought into the team,
Yes.
from our chairman to the technical team, and the quality of players we have,
Also the quality of our broader technical team in terms of the
Yes,
medical
no,
guys,
talk about
the recovery,
technical stuff,
also,
yes,
like
yes,
it's still
About-
just top.
it's top. When you look at the whole package, we
I mean, we have guys like Godfrey, who was on the bench for the World Cup in 2010. Like, that's pedigree.
I mean, our guys, they can go internationally and get jobs.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Brighton can advertise for a post and not be surprised one of our guys has gotten that post.
Taji, we have half of our technical team for the last 10 years playing back-to-back Club World Cup.
You see.
What else? What else?
So when you look at that, and you're honestly looking at the next 15 sides in the PSL, with
It's abuse. It's abuse.
I don't think we should be having a conversation.
Thank you.
Unless we're not taking it ourselves seriously.
But Taji, it was a pleasure to have you. I think we overworked you. Basically, me and Tlotlo just
No,
sat
it's a
here,
pleasure.
became cones, and
I've
you
missed
studied
it,
the
guys.
ship.
No, I've missed it. It's been a minute, you know. I was actually thinking, man, it's almost 2 years, guys.
Almost.
Almost
Yeah.
2 years since
Yeah.
I've been here. I've had the pleasure of being invited to see you guys work. I've just been paying you guys and not being invited to the front seat.
No,
thanks you guys. Thank you very much for inviting me, guys.
We really appreciate it.
Looking forward to a very successful season, guys.
Don't forget to subscribe to Masandawana Fan Vlog. Thank you for the continued support. And I'm not sure if it's a shameless plug, but it's a plug nonetheless. If you're watching this, go to Mamelodi Sundowns TV and subscribe to Mamelodi Sundowns YouTube channel and watch the Sundown stories. There's so much content there that's coming, and it goes from here to there, from there to here. So thank you so much, guys. See you next time. Cool.
All right.